Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good afternoon. We're just waiting for Curt to join us. There he is. There he is.
Hey, young world.
I was worried for a second. I was like, where are you at?
No, no worries. I'm right here. I'm
You
sorry.
made it.
I am not a social media professional, apparently.
All, all good. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. We're just getting started here.
What's up, Yana?
Your crew is joined. Amazing. Well, we'll jump in. I know we're a couple minutes past 9:30 or Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. For those of you who were able to join us yesterday for our International Women's Day Break the Bias kickoff with the ladies from Great Place to Work, we had a fantastic conversation. For those of you who were not able to attend, no problem. We have that video available on demand in our live reel, so feel free to go check it out. Hello, hi Jess, hi Yana, hello everybody, welcome. And I'm thrilled today for today's conversation. Day 2 is going to be also epic. Today we're going to be talking about inclusion, especially as it relates to the audiovisual and production space. And I couldn't think of anyone I wanted to chat more with than the face you see right over here, Mr. Curt Johnson, Director of Sales for Four Moon Productions. Good morning, Curt. Good
Good
afternoon
morning.
for
Good
you.
afternoon. Yeah, indeed.
I would love for you to introduce yourself and who Four Moon is and all the good things to our Instagram live audience this
Absolutely.
afternoon.
So for those of you who don't know, I am Curt Johnson. As Lo mentioned, I'm the sales director at Four Moon. I have been an event professional for just over 20 years now. Started my career in 2001 for a large production house in Las Vegas, Nevada. Started as use a Drake reference since I'm on the line with Lo. Started from the bottom and now I'm here. Literally, I was started driving trucks and delivering equipment all over Vegas and just shook a bunch of hands and asked 1,001 questions. Bounced around the industry a little bit, worked in various roles before I got recruited to be the director of sales at Four Moon. Love what I'm doing now. I think it was a good transition from where I started to now. I have a wealth of experience to share with clients, and I think it helps me all around being in the sales seat.
Amazing. And tell us a little bit about Four Moon.
Four Moon is, man, we're fantastic. It's we're a full scale production house. I get to work with a bunch of friends and Road family. JT, shout out to JT Nodden. I don't know if he's joined,
JT.
right, but JT Nodden is definitely by far one of my favorite humans, and I get the pleasure to work with this man every day. So, very family oriented company. We are a small but mighty army. We produce events all over the world. We do some amazing events, and I'm, man, super blessed to be part of this team. So
Yeah, he's one of my favorite people too. So there you go.
to know him is to love him for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I super appreciate you taking the time to join us today and be part of this conversation. I would love for us to jump in and I wanted to frame kind of what we're going to be talking about today when it, through the lens of inclusion.
Okay.
All your daughters on Kenzie J. That's my dad.
Hey.
I love it. uh, Amazing. So we are going to talk today about inclusion and representation, especially in the audiovisual and production arena. I know that when I entered this world as a young event planner back in the day, sort of my eyes were open and I was so
Yeah.
excited, and audiovisual and production was so cool and I was so open to learning. But I gotta say, it was intimidating walking to, in ballrooms
It can
and
be.
walking into and dealing with crews of predominantly men when you're young and maybe afraid to ask certain questions, or, don't know all the lingo. And so I think over the years, what I found invaluable
Mhm.
is working with partners like Foremoon and other partners we work with, who create a safe and kind of partnership vibe when it comes to collaborating with event planning companies or
Absolutely.
clients, which really I think accelerated my learning, back in the
Yeah.
day to now, and feeling okay to, like, ask silly questions or not know, and I've learned a ton from partners like yourselves and others. And so, I just think that it's an interesting conversation we're going to have today around this world of AV production and potentially
Absolutely.
why more women are not in it. And so I would just love, maybe to kick us off for why you think that is, why you think that is a male dominated field. And maybe we'll just start there.
I think that's a great question and a great place to start. I'm going to start to answer that question by saying I think there's an extreme lack of advocacy in the production space around events. Like a lot of other industries, birds of a feather flock together. When there's a referral opportunity or opportunity for you to bring somebody else on into the fold, I think people tend to refer people that look like them or in that same space. And because it's always been a male dominated space, I think guys are a little more reluctant to suggest their sister or mom or another female to come onto the crew, which is pretty sad. I mean, I grew up around my two sisters and my single parent mother who raised us, raised four daughters. So I've been around women my whole life, and I definitely identify as a feminist, and I take that seriously to try to change the face of the industry and make it a little bit more diverse. Um, I definitely encourage women to be bold, be curious, chase those curiosities. Don't be afraid to ask those questions. Somebody told me one time that the dumbest question is the one that you don't ask,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody
Mm-hmm.
starts somewhere, the guy who's got the most knowledge on site, he started from the bottom at one point. He didn't know anything, and he was just as intimidated the first time he saw that AV setup as you were when you saw it. So
Yeah, no, and I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. We love feminists.
yeah.
I know we were joking that your dog Luca is like, your boy
Yeah.
hanging
Oh
out
man.
there,
Yeah, I definitely needed
surrounded
that
by
a little bit
women.
in my life. I won't lie. Him and I bond on a different level, but it's good.
But I see your point, birds of a feather. But I'm just curious, as how do people become aware that this is even a career option? Or do you think that, like, what could be intimidating about it for women in particular? Or is it that they don't know the avenue to take, or that I would just love your thoughts around, like,
Yeah,
how to
absolutely.
get started,
Absolutely. It's crazy because I fell into the industry by chance. I was working in retail. A friend of mine was working at a company and he was super excited and happy where he was at. And he said they were hiring. He was at the time making a few more dollars an hour than I was. And I was like, shoot, all right, let's go. And literally I jumped in there and I was just, the industry itself is fascinating. And I was very intrigued once I got introduced to the world of AV production. And I encourage anybody, if you've been to a concert or a conference, a music studio, anything like that, where there's any kind of audiovisual production happening and you find yourself intrigued and curious, then chase those rabbit holes. Look into your local AV production companies. There's several conferences that happen every year. that are centered around professional AV production. Infocom comes to mind. The National Association of Broadcasters comes to mind. There's a couple other ones out there that you guys can look up and again, just chase their curiosities, or find somebody who's in the industry and ask them 1,000 questions until they don't want to hear anymore, and then go to the next person and ask them another 1,000 questions. You know, I think you just have to really educate yourself and find that information if it's not readily available.
Yeah, absolutely. Just dive right in.
Yeah.
And you know, for women who may be interested in this as a career, you know, is it something I think you said you just kind of, you didn't have any necessarily formal training. So,
No.
you know, what advice would you give other than just, you know, connecting with people that are in the space? Or
Absolutely.
would you say there are programs that are beneficial to kind of look into, or just kind of
Absolutely. None that ring a bell like right off the top, but I was introduced to the IATSE Local 720 in Las Vegas, which is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. And
Okay.
if you watch any TV shows or movies, at the very end credits, you'll see that IATSE badge on most of those productions. I mean, that's a great place to start. It's an international organization. I think it's IATSE.net is their website. That's a great place to start because they offer training. I mean, you can literally start in there from the bottom and get training as a part of the union. So I think that's a great place to start. Again, looking at different conferences and networking events in your area. There's a lot of meeting professional organizations that exist in the world, and they are all pretty much all international. So once you find that niche that you like, hey, I really want to chase this video or chase this lighting avenue or chase this audio production avenue, you know, find an advocate in the industry and stick with them. I think it's invaluable to have a mentor in whatever industry you're in. If you can align yourself with somebody who's an advocate and has your back and wants to see you succeed, then I think you're on the right track for sure.
Yeah, someone to guide you, right? You
Yeah.
know,
I
someone who's
mean,
been there and fought the good fight or navigated the hurdles.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will add too that, you know, this is an industry that, I mean, full transparency, I don't have a college education. I started down that avenue, thought I wanted to be a civil engineer at one point in my life, and got introduced to this industry and have been afforded to travel all over the world, you know, make a decent living and really just have a wealth of experience in my career that, again, it happened by chance. I didn't you know, set out to seek this career. But again, if you have a curiosity and you're intrigued by technology and production, by all means, please reach out to me. If I can be of any assistance, I'm happy to do so. And again, just in your local area, if you find any kind of conference event, networking event, meeting professionals in your area, people love to share knowledge when they're in a good space.
I think that's super invaluable for people to hear is that you don't need a formal education. It's kind of a hands-on, learn by doing, you
Absolutely.
know, jump in, see if you like it. You know, so many people
Absolutely.
jump into a program, realize, I don't even know if I like you know, this
Yeah,
2-year school program I've committed to. So I think
absolutely.
being able to just learn by doing and jump in, even if it's at like, you know, what you call it, a roadie? Is it a
Oh
roadie
yeah.
or like, you know, you know, doing all the grunt work, which, you know, you got to get through those moments to kind of work your way up.
You know,
But
we were talking about inclusion, and that's I'm glad that you said that because it is there are parts of the industry that can be a little bit more grungy, if you will, for lack of a better term. But there's so many avenues in AV production that you can find yourself in where you don't have to be pushing heavy cases and unloading trucks. You know, you can be a stage manager, production assistant, video engineer, audio engineer. You can be that person that comes in and pushes the buttons. And then when the show's over, you're like, all right, thank you guys for a great show. And you're walking away. So, you know, granted, sometimes it takes some time to build yourself up to get those skills, to get to those levels, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's a great industry to be in. It's fun. It's exciting. If you don't like the
yeah,
mundane work of the, you know, day to day punching the clock, this is definitely for you. So,
yeah, It's definitely long days, and as I know from your side, lots of travel. So
Indeed.
if you're not averse to hard work, this is definitely something to entertain. And as long as you're
Absolutely.
not pushing the wrong buttons,
Yeah.
I've been included on check tables where like stay away from this panel, do not go near,
Yeah.
do not
Oh
pass
yeah.
go. But on the flip side, I've been able to join, been on comm or the headset and conversations with
Absolutely.
production teams that have been some of my most fondest memories and laughter, just having conversations about everything and anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. There's so many different options to explore that it's not just necessarily what you think you see. The options are really, there's so many
Yeah.
options out there.
I tell people all the time, and there's every event that we do, there's 10,000 small details that have to come together and work together to make this event successful. So you have to kind of be attention detailed, and I don't know, hard work is definitely part of the part of the
Part of
career.
the
But if you know stranger to that and you don't mind, the long hours and some travel, there's positions that you can be working from home or remote as well. But I thrive on the travel. I like the hustle and bustle of the industry.
Yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
keeps things exciting. Also high pressure, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
AV production, you can't hide necessarily, when the video goes down, or
Yeah. No,
you're really a lot of like intense moments, but that's also the exciting part too.
it is, and I think nowadays too, it's even more. I don't want to say stressful, but there's a lot more at stake with now we're doing virtual and hybrid events. Pre-pandemic, of course, we were all live events and everybody was gathering thousands of people in venues. I think we're getting back to that. I only want to say slowly but surely because we are quite busy at the
In
moment.
the thick of it, I know.
Yeah, but I mean, I love it. But I think now that the industry has evolved into what it is now, I think, there's more of a need for people to know the technologies, to know these different virtual platforms and how that works, the back ends of Zooms and all these different various virtual platforms. So again, it just opens up more avenues for people to pursue if they want to be in a production space, and it's not what it used to be. It's a little bit more heavy now.
Yeah. The theme of this year's International Women's Day is break the bias, which obviously, we sort of talked about belonging yesterday, today's inclusion.
Right.
I'm curious, how do you break the bias in your role at For Moon, or, in any way that you seek meaningful? How do you break the bias?
um, I think that, again, birds of a feather, and I think because I'm a feminist, I pay attention to my environment. I seek out those women who I see are um, doing great work and really just kind of showing an initiative. I've made some really great friends that I've known for 10 plus years in the industry. One of which, Miss Rosie Galloway, really good friend of mine who's been in the industry for a long time. And Rosie, her personal stature is not one of like, this woman is very strong and she's gonna unload all of these heavy boxes. But I'm telling you, Rosie is a beast on site, and she is uh, just an esteemed professional at what she does. She's great at what she does, and she's stuck it out in the industry. And I think you don't get that longevity without having some advocates and some people that have your back and that are looking out for you. So in my role at For Moon, every time I get an opportunity to get through a new door, I make sure I hold that door open for somebody behind me. Be it somebody of diverse culture, race, religion, gender, whatever it is. If I can help somebody further themselves in a career that is afforded me so many great experiences, I want to make sure I can do that. Just recently, we had a show, and I, again, purposely recruited as many women as I could. Ended up with only two, but we had two more women than we would have had on an event. And again, just the travel, the pay rate, the experience of it all was, man, it's invaluable. It's really great.
Yeah.
So I encourage anybody else in the industry, if you're in a position in production or in the events industry period, and you have an opportunity to recruit more diversity in your sector of the industry, man. Please do.
Yeah. I
We
love
need it.
what you said, holding the door open, right?
Yeah,
You never know who may want to walk through.
absolutely.
That act of just keeping it open is so beautiful, so and so important.
I think it's
So
paying it forward. Somebody did the same thing for me. I was being a black man in this industry. There, I didn't see very much of my likeness as well. Like in the as you start to move up the ranks, and I've had some colleagues of mine who've mentioned to me that, man, Curt, I really admire your journey in the industry, man. We've watched you grow from a truck driver to now you're the director of sales and traveling all that. Just, you just have to have some initiative and stay curious. There's so much to learn every day. Stay curious, ask 1,000 questions, and keep moving forward.
yeah. And stay positive, which I think you do such an
Indeed.
incredible job. You have like
Uh,
an energy that everybody wants to be around, and such a beautiful energy. So I think that positivity and that perseverance is clear. And I know I've learned my team and I have learned so much from you and JT and the team, and continue to do so. So, oh, someone say, I worked with Curt, and I agree. Having women on show site, we work our butts off sometimes just to prove our worth for being on site with men. It's true. It's true.
yeah.
But as you said, 2 women on the crew is better than 0. So
Oh
we're,
man,
progress slowly but surely. Hopefully
slowly but surely.
those
Uh,
gaps, we close the gap a little bit, which is beautiful.
absolutely.
I know we're kind of coming up on time here, but I would love to get kind of your final thoughts, your top 3 recommendations for any women who are watching or may watch this recording after, who may be considering this as a career or something they want to get into. What are the top 3 things you would say?
Man, it might be more than 3. I mean, the first thing that
Well,
comes to
you can give
mind,
us more than 3.
one of my favorite sayings nowadays is I just tell people, Nike, just do it.
Just
Just do it. I mean, I think
yeah,
that's the greatest slogan.
yeah,
Whatever if you're thinking about it, just go after it. Ask somebody, and I think it's just that initial push to ask a question. Hey, what do you do, and how did you get involved in that? Or I saw, I went to this event and this was really intriguing. How do I get involved in X, Y, and Z? I'll refer to IATSE, which is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. That's an international organization. You can look them up on the website, and it'll kind of direct you to your local source. If you're involved in any type of church, I think a lot of churches now have a whole production staff or production
hmm.
crew in some of these larger churches. A lot of people that I've worked with have gotten their start at a church. Local theater production. I mean, there's so many different avenues you can take to get an intro into the industry. I say just chase those curiosities, ask as many questions as you can think to ask, and reach out. Again, I'm not very present on social media, but feel free to shoot me a DM or reach out to me via email. I'm on LinkedIn. And again, if I can be an advocate, if I can help or assist in any way, I'm happy to do so. I love to see the diversity in the industry, and I want to continue to see that and be the change I want to see.
Yeah. I think that I couldn't end it any better myself. I think thank you so much for taking time today to have this conversation. It was an honor. And I think there's definitely some great takeaways, and I encourage anyone joining, or if you're listening to this later on, find Curt or JT Naughton on LinkedIn. They're a
Yeah,
great team, incredible to work with. And thank you, my friend. This was awesome. I look forward to seeing you in person. It's like
absolutely. Sooner than later, I hope.
all these reunions that are going to happen. It's going to be amazing. But thank you, and wish you nothing but continued success.
Thank you, Lo. Thank you, everybody who you work with and your whole team. I mean, again, I think it's industry partners like yourself that make it worthwhile. So when you get to work with people that have such quality about themselves, it definitely is. It's easier that way to keep moving.
Yeah,
And
I
don't
hear
forget
you.
to smile. It's
Yeah,
contagious.
there you go. We'll end on that. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we will see you
Yeah.
soon. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Bye.